So today we are going to start with a new chapter, human reproduction. Let's begin with the lesson, children. Now, human reproduction, we all know what is reproduction. Reproduction is the production of young ones by an organism. Humans are sexually reproducing and viviparous. You know what is viviparous? Those who give rise to young ones. So human reproductive system is divided into two, male and female. Let's start with the male reproductive system. Now, these are the male reproductive system. These are the various parts of male reproductive system. Children, it has four basic or major parts. One is the paired testes. Then comes the accessory ducts. Then the accessory glands and external genitalia or penis. Now, paired testes are the main part of male reproductive system where the sperms are produced. Accessory ducts are again divided into types like rete testes, vas efferentia, epididymis, and vas deferens. Accessory glands are again of three types: prostrate, which is one; seminal vesicle are in pair, two; Cooper's or bulbourethral gland again in pair, that is why two. You can make out all the parts in the diagram. This is the ureter, which is collecting the urine and getting attached to the urinary bladder. This is the urinary bladder. This is vas deferens, prostrate gland, one single prostrate gland, the reddish one. Penis, urethra, which is getting connected to the tip of the penis, then glans penis and foreskin. Here, rectum, anus, these are the testes which are in the scrotum, or scrotum is a sac inside which testes are present, and these are bulbourethral glands, and this is seminal vesicle. So let's start with the first part, that is testes. Testes are two, that is in pair. This is the primary sex organ because it produces two main things. One is the sperm and the testosterone, which is the male sex hormone. Testes are formed within abdomen soon after the birth or at the 8th month of pregnancy. They descend into the scrotal sac or the scrotum through inguinal canal. Children, again I am repeating, during the fetal stage, the testes are formed in the abdomen, that is inside the body, but before birth or during the 8th month of pregnancy, and in some cases it may occur after birth also, they come down or they descend into a sac which is called scrotum through inguinal canal. This is the canal through which these testes come down into the scrotum. Now, the low temperature around 2 to 2.5 degree centigrade, less than the body temperature. That is why the testes are present in the scrotum, because it is outside the body now, and the temperature here will be less or below the normal body temperature. Around 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius will be the difference of temperature. This difference of temperature or this low temperature of the testes helps the testes to do spermatogenesis, and the proper functioning of the testes are done. So for a proper spermatogenesis, what is spermatogenesis? Formation of sperm is called spermatogenesis. So for this proper functioning, the temperature should be little bit lower than the normal body temperature, and this is the reason why testes are present outside the body in the scrotum sac. Now let's move on. Each testis is oval in shape. Length is around 4 to 5 centimeter and width is 2 to 3 centimeters. Each testis has about 250 testicular lobules. Testes are divided into lobules or compartments. Each lobule contains 1 to 3 coiled seminiferous tubules. So every compartment or every lobule has 1, 2 or maximum 3 seminiferous tubules which are coiled and fitted into that compartment. Seminiferous tubule from inside is lined with spermatogenic cells or spermatogonia or male germ cells. Now when there is a tubule, you must imagine or you must think that if there is a tube, there will be an outer wall and there will be an inner wall. So towards the inner side or internally, the wall of the tubule is made up of cells which are called spermatogonia or male germ cells and Sertoli cells which are supporting cells. So the wall of the seminiferous tubule from inside has two types of cells. One is spermatogonia or male germ cell and the other one are Sertoli cells or supporting cells. Let me show you here. So these are the spermatogonia or male germ cells. You see, and in between you find Sertoli cells which are supporting cells. So this is the inner wall of the testes. So the inner wall of the testes is made up of spermatogonia and also some Sertoli cells which are supporting cells. Sertoli cells give shape and nourishment to the developing spermatogonia. So see, these spermatogonias, they require nourishment. So that nourishment is being provided by Sertoli cells. Now the region outside the seminiferous tubule, right? That was inside the seminiferous tubule. Now the region outside the seminiferous tubule has certain space called interstitial space, and this region contains some blood vessels, some interstitial cells or Leydig cells, some immunologically competent cells. So these three things are present outside the seminiferous tubule, inside that compartment, right? The seminiferous tubule are inside the compartment or lobule. So if there is some space left in that compartment, that interstitial space is filled with some blood vessels, some Leydig cells and some immunological competent cells. Now Leydig cells secrete the hormone, that is the testosterone, also called the androgens. So Leydig cells are responsible for the male sex hormone or testicular hormone or also called androgen. Children, next is accessory ducts. As I told you, there are many ducts present in the male reproductive system. First is rete testes. You see, this is rete testes. This is rated. See, yeah, again, let me show you. These are the lobules or the compartments. If you see, these are the compartments or lobules. And each compartment has coiled seminiferous tubule. These are the coiled seminiferous tubules, you see. All these seminiferous tubules are joined to rete testes. This is rete testes. These rete testes are again joined by, see, many tubes. If you can see here, there are so many tubes which are attached to rete testes. They are all vas efferentia. Vas efferentia then gets connected into, you see, epididymis. This is epididymis. All the vas efferentias then connect to epididymis, and epididymis then gets moves on and it ascends, it moves on or is in ascending order, and now this is vas deferens. Okay, so all these are ducts. Rete testes, irregular cavities here. Vas efferentia, series of fine tubules. These are vas efferentia, series of fine tubules. Epididymis, it is the one where the sperms are stored temporarily. Sperms are stored here temporarily, and then epididymis leads to into vas deferens. So all these are the accessory ducts. You see, vas deferens joins with the duct of seminal vesicle to form common ejaculatory duct. If they have shown here in this diagram, this is vas deferens, and now this vas deferens will move upward and it will join with seminal vesicle to form one common duct. Let me show you here. See, this is seminal vesicle and this is the duct of seminal vesicle. Okay, this is also seminal vesicle, duct of seminal vesicle, and now the vas deferens is also coming and attaching here. So seminal vesicle plus this vas deferens is also coming and attaching at the same point. Now because all of them are attaching at the same point, so now this duct is called common ejaculatory duct, because this is common for vas deferens also, this is a common passage for seminal vesicle also. So every content of vas deferens and all the contents of seminal vesicle now will be put into common ejaculatory duct. Okay, clear? So conduction of sperms, how are sperms conducted? You see, seminiferous tubules in here inside. Seminiferous tubules will produce the sperms. Now these sperms will move from rete testes. From rete testes through epididymis, it will reach vasa efferentia. From vasa efferentia, it will go to epididymis. From epididymis, then these will be passed on to the vas deferens. Then from vas deferens, they will be given to the common ejaculatory duct, and from here they will pass into the urethra, and from urethra outside through the penis. This is the passage of sperms from testes to outside. So urethra will receive the duct of prostate and Cooper's gland and passes through the penis. So you see, ultimately all the things open into the urethra. See, the common seminal vesicle, the vas deferens open into common ejaculatory duct, even the prostate glands open into the urethra, even the bulbourethral gland also they open into the urethra. So everything opens into one common passage called urethra, and then their contents are passed out through penis. Then accessory glands, as I told you, a pair of seminal vesicle, prostate gland, a pair of Cooper's gland, also called bulbourethral gland. Now all of them, because they are glands, they secrete some kind of secretion is given out by them. So their collective secretion of all these three is called seminal plasma. So collective secretion of all the three glands is called seminal plasma, which is rich in fructose, calcium and enzymes. And when this seminal plasma mixes up with sperm, because sperms are also passed on through the same passage. So when seminal vesicle mixes up with sperm, then ultimately this whole combined content is called semen, which is released out by males through penis. Accessory glands, children, have certain functions like seminal plasma helps for the transporting sperms. They supply nutrients to the sperms. They provide alkalinity to counteract acidity of the uterus. Suppose the ejaculation or the semen has been released into the female vagina, and if the female vagina, the environment there is a little bit acidic, so the plasma, the seminal plasma will counteract that acidity and will try to make the environment comfortable for the sperms, because acidic environment may kill the sperms. Okay, then secretion of Cooper's gland or bulbourethral gland helps in lubrication of the penis so that the penis can penetrate the vagina easily. Secretions of epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle and prostate help for the maturation and motility of the sperms, because we always know that sperms are the ones which will have to move and go and meet the egg. So their motility is quite important. So the secretions help in maturation and motility of the sperms. Next, last part is penis, that is external genitalia. It is the main copulatory organ. That is, using this organ, copulation is done. It is made up of special erectile spongy tissue. The tissue which gets erected because blood supply is now given as the person is aroused, as the person has some sexual sensation, so the person gets aroused, and when the person gets aroused, these erectile spongy tissues are supplied by lot of blood, due to which the penis erects. The spongy tissue is filled with blood and the penis erection is there, and erection will help in the entry of female vagina, and then insemination is done. The cone-shaped tip of the penis is called glans penis. You can see the diagram, and it is covered by a skin which is called foreskin. Okay, this is the structure of the penis. That's all about male reproductive system.